It's 2 minutes till midnight on June 15th when a terrified teenager calls 911.
Do we need some ambulances? It's bad. We flipped and... Oh, God. Okay, were you involved? Oh, I was in the truck.
The truck was being driven by 16-year-old Ethan Couch, and the 911 caller is his friend, one of 7 friends in the pickup. The group had been drinking heavily before Couch plowed down 4 people on the side of the road. Multiple 911 calls capture the chaos.
Listen to me. Is it just one vehicle?
No, ma'am, there's 4 or 5. There's another child in the ditch. I got him!
And how many people need EMS?
Ma'am, I'm telling you, it's dark. There's 4 or 5 kids. There's kids laying in ditches and streets.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Oh, my God.
Come here. I need you to sit here and I need you guys to pray, okay?
In the end, 4 people were dead and 2 of Couch's friends thrown from the bed of the pickup, including Sergio Molina, who is now paralyzed and had been in a coma. His parents, we've learned, are suing Ethan Couch, Couch's parents, and the family business, Cleburne Metalworks, which owned the Ford F-350 pickup truck Couch was driving. Sergio Molina's parents are seeking as much as $20 million to care for their son in the future. The complaint points out Couch had a history of arrests, including one where he pleaded no contest to charges of possessing and drinking alcohol. That court date was just 3 months before the fatal wreck. We also got our hands on notes taken during Couch's manslaughter trial. They belong to the attorney for Eric Boyles, who lost his wife and daughter in the crash. According to that attorney, witnesses testified that Ethan Couch was caught fleeing on foot about a quarter mile from the accident scene. He could be heard at the scene, the attorney's notes say, yelling to one of his passengers, quote, "I'm Ethan Couch. I'll get you out of this." But in the end, with 4 people dead, all Ethan Couch got for his actions was a slap on the wrist. Judge Gene Boyd sending him to alcohol rehab with 10 years probation.
And Randy Kay joins us now. So do we know if this Judge Gene Boyd has accepted the Affluenza defense before or anything like it?
Well, Anderson, it's hard to say much about her record on the bench since she is a juvenile judge and those case files, as you know, are sealed. But I can tell you that Judge Boyd has presided over this juvenile court since 1995 in Texas. She has been recognized and received awards, in fact, for her integrity and courage. But still, there is one case from 2012, Anderson, that some folks, as you know, have brought to our attention. And it's a bit surprising given the current case of Ethan Couch. Now, in that case from 2012, a 14-year-old boy admitted to killing a man by punching him in the face. That man fell to the ground, hit his head, and died. Now, the judge in that case sentenced the 14-year-old to 10 years in a juvenile detention center. Now, all we know about him, because of the sealed records, is that that teen is African American. We don't know if his family is wealthy or not, or anything else, quite frankly. So while it may be hard to compare without all of the details, what does stand out to us is that one teenager from the very same judge got 10 years behind bars for killing one man, while another, Ethan Couch, gets 10 years probation for killing 4 people. I mean, it's just a snapshot, of course, into the judge's history, but it's certainly, Anderson, very curious.
Welcome to What's Good with George. I'm your host, George Erickson. Today we will start off with a little segment I like to call Good or No Good. So how about we start off with puppies?
Good.
How about OU?
No good.
Yeah. So speech class?
Very good.
Drunk driving?
No good.
No good. Well, what about affluenza?
What's that?
That's a good question, and that's what today's show is going to be about. Find out more after the break.
If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with affluenza, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Affluenza is a rare disease linked to enormous monetary exposure. Exposure to money in big corporations, courthouses, oil tycoons, commercial aviation, or the automotive industries may put you at risk. Please don't wait. Call 1-800-I-AM-RICH today for a free legal consultation and a financial information packet. Affluenza patients, call now. 1-800-I-AM-RICH. That's 1-800-426-7424. 1-800-426-7424. Call today.
And we're back. So, before I tell you about what affluenza is, let me ask you this. What if one day your child was beaten to death or killed by a drunk driver who was then taken to court and was let off on probation because they had this thing called affluenza? Would you not be outraged? Well, with me today is Dr. Nathan Welsh, a certified clinical psychologist. Nice to meet you.
Nice to be here today.
So, Dr. Welsh, what do you have to say about this epidemic?
Well, George, affluenza, while it has been more prevalent these past few decades, isn't a new concept. According to the Tribune, the first documented case of affluenza was in 1924 with Leopold and Loeb, two brothers who murdered a 14-year-old child because they were convinced that their intelligence coupled with their wealthy parents would allow them to avoid the consequences of the crime. So while this isn't a new occurrence, affluenza has only come to light recently over in Texas with Ethan Couch.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that Ethan Couch kid. Wasn't he from Texas?
That's right, George. Ethan Couch was an 18-year-old from Burleson, Texas, who, according to The Guardian, shoplifted copious amounts of alcohol and then shortly after caused a fatal accident while driving under the influence. While a crime such as this could be considered manslaughter or worse, Couch was only given 10 years probation.
Wow, that's just a few hours from our studio here in Stillwater. That's just a little bit too close to home. That's not good. Let's take a quick commercial break and then we'll talk about the problem with affluenza, how it became a horrible problem in the first place, and then we'll tackle some long-term solutions. Stay tuned, folks.
Hi, welcome to Southwest Airlines, where we drag down our competitors, not our customers. Here at Southwest Airlines, we are highly dedicated to our customer satisfaction. We take great pride in our excellent service and price match guarantee. We'll beat those prices down to fit your needs, not ours.
And we're back. So let's take a quick look at our problem of affluenza. I have with me today Logan and his mother Madison. They come from Hollywood, California. How was your flight out here?
It was just horrible, George. We flew on United and Coach and had to sit with the peasants. They had a shortage of seats for their employees and they're kicking people off the plane, George. So I thought we were gonna be asked to leave, but my mom just slipped me some money and we were okay.
Shh, we aren't supposed to talk about that in front of the less fortunate.
Whatever, mother, I can do whatever I want. It's like they can do anything to us. We'll just hire a lawyer and get out of it.
Okay, folks, let's take a look at the problem and what it is with affluenza. Now, Madison, what would you say affluenza is?
Affluenza? I mean, I treat my son well, and I'm just trying to give him the best life he can. So he's spoiled, so what? It's not like he's being held to the same standards as the poor.
All my friends can get away with whatever I want. And that might be true, but I really do deserve it. I mean, don't you see how rich I am?
So, affluenza is actually defined by Merriam-Webster Dictionary as feelings of guilt, lack of motivation, and social isolation experienced by wealthy people. Obviously, affluenza is a terrible excuse for getting away with crime. Yet, it was still a valid excuse according to the prosecuting judge for Ethan Couch's case. How is that acceptable? Someone's child died. Affluenza should not be a valid excuse. Everyone, even the wealthy, should be held accountable for their actions.
Some of the poor kids in my school say that us wealthy people getting away with crime while the common people are forced to the judicial system isn't right. They say that this is a problem that's becoming more and more common. Yeah, I heard on the limo ride over here that the New York Times released an article about our flight. I guess some people thought that that was pretty bad, but I don't see what the big deal is. They're a big company, they can do whatever they want.
Logan's right. I read a CNN article that said that major airlines have thought of themselves above the law. The article goes on to say that the U.S. justice system is unlikely to do anything like these companies, especially with the stricter laws allowed by the post 9/11 laws. Doing anything to hurt these companies would hurt the economy.
Do you not see how concerning this is? Even if United Airlines was taken to court, they would not be liable for anything other than the excessive use of force on their customer who refused to leave the seat he paid for. This is just the first of so many examples of how those with money can generally get away with gross negligence.
What I've noticed is how not only wealthy companies, but also individuals are starting to get off easily for crimes they committed. I heard about Robert DuPont, the wealthy heir to the DuPont fortune, who raped his 2-year-old daughter. According to New York Daily, DuPont was eventually convicted, but he ended up serving no jail time, as the preceding judge said that Robert would not fare well in prison, whatever that means. And let's not forget about the Ethan Couch case, in which Couch was driving while under the influence of alcohol, causing a fatal accident. He claimed that he had never been taught right from wrong, and the court accepted this affluenza and as a valid excuse and gave him a highly reduced sentence.
What does this mean to me? So I'm spoiled and I get away with everything, but it's not like I'm hurting anyone.
So, what if it was your best friend, Logan? I mean, can you imagine them being killed by a drunk driver and then learn that the driver only received probation because they were wealthy? That's awful, and it's ridiculous, and quite honestly, it belittles the death of your loved one. Someone privileged is no excuse for poor decision making. And besides, do you want your tax money to be going to the trials for affluenza victims? Well, what I propose is the ending of affluenza as a defense in the judicial system. People shouldn't get away with crimes just because they are privileged. By getting rid of this defense, each accused person can receive fair trial in court. Victims will receive the justice they deserve, while criminals will face the consequences of their horrific actions.
Hi, welcome to the Affluenza Center. Who are you?
Hi, I'm entitled and privileged.
No, I mean, what's your name?
My name's not important. I have money and I can do whatever I want.
What?
You heard me.
Well, if you follow me, we can get started with your treatment, sir.
Welcome back. Here with me now are Courtney and her daughter, Ashley.
Sorry we're late, George. We were kicked off our flight because they didn't have enough room for their staff, and they even dragged a man off of the plane.
These rich companies think that they can come in and do whatever they want because they have money and they can pay off whoever they want to so they won't get into trouble. And unfortunately, they usually get away with it.
That's an interesting perspective. Well, thanks for coming in today anyways. So, Ashley, Courtney, what do you think the problem is with affluenza?
Well, George, I think that the solution to the problem starts with our justice system. To ensure that all people have judicial equality, court officials and attorneys need to uphold the standard that everyone is equal regardless of race, background, economic status, financial status. They need to be able to make consistent decisions on court cases, focusing solely on facts and circumstances regardless of monetary gain.
Well, that sounds great, but that's quite a substantial proposal. Where do we even begin to implement this?
Well, as a teenager who sees affluenza around my high school, I think that this solution starts with the household and works up to the judicial level. Of course, the main course of action is to hold the judicial system accountable for the decisions that they make. According to the Huffington Post, in the instance of the Ethan Couch case, Couch's psychologist G.D. Miller claimed that affluenza was indeed a real disease, and that Ethan Couch was sick because of his pampered, wealthy lifestyle. Miller then requested that the judge give Couch preferential treatment simply based on his monetary status, and of course, the judge agreed.
So what you're saying is that affluenza isn't a real disease?
Affluenza is not a true medical or psychological condition, but rather a byproduct of entitlement and privilege. John Townsend from Fox News defines entitlement as denying responsibility for one's choices and demanding special treatment. Based on the court's current decision, Couch was sentenced to 10 years of probation, along with the recommendation that Couch receive treatment in a rehab institution. But all of this will only allow Couch to be convinced that he can get away with a crime without really any consequences whatsoever, or that he's above the law because he's wealthy. He will most likely not learn anything from this decision. Instead, if the judges and attorneys involved in the case had held Couch accountable for his actions, he would have been stripped of his privileged status and given the exact same treatment as anyone else in the same type of situation.
So, Courtney, it is in fact not a real disease. But can it be treated, and more importantly, can it be cured?
Well, researchers at Berkeley have actually concluded that this is indeed the appropriate cure for affluenza. Researchers found that, according to Addicting Info, once people cease to view themselves as wealthy, they begin to develop characteristics such as empathy, compassion, and morality. This is the only treatment for affluenza, entitlement, and narcissism, according to the Berkeley Science Review.
Does this really take care of the problem if we just treat the kids with affluenza?
No, this treatment can be applied to many more situations other than curing pampered, wealthy teenagers like Ethan Couch. In fact, it can be applied to CEOs, Congress members, bankers, and absolutely anyone that believes that it is acceptable to get away with illegal acts simply because they're above the law.
Well, thank you. And that, my friends, that is What's Good. Thanks for tuning in to What's Good with George. Tune in next week. Thank you.
Have you or a loved one been convicted of a crime? Do you claim affluenza? Do you need to flee the country? Don't you just hate it when you want to go on a vacation, but you don't have the time or permission to plan your getaway? We've solved that little problem for you and then some. Visit our website to take full advantage of our complimentary travelogues and destination guides. If you already know where you'd like to go, that's half the battle. If not, we'll figure it out for you. You can even book discount airfares, hotels, and your rental car all on our site. What a lifesaver, literally. Again, just jump online to hop on that plane. Simple, inexpensive, and fast. Shouldn't everything in life be like this?
Logan, honey, have you cleaned your room yet?
No, Mom, cleaning is for poor chumps.
Okay, Logan, Ryan, Eads, give me your phone, your car keys, your computer, your PS4, any electronics you have, actually, because, son, you are grounded.
Mom!
Young man, I hope you'll learn how to follow orders and respect your mother. And after all your stuff is gone, I think you'll learn how to appreciate it, and I hope you'll learn your lesson. Hey Logan, can you clean up your room and maybe the indoor basketball court as well?
Yeah, Mom, I got you.
Really? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. No, I thought about it. I really appreciate all that you do for me, Mom, and all the wonderful things that we have. I have realized that I haven't been respecting you like I should, and that's going to change because I love you, and I would be nothing without all that you've done for me.
Aw, Logan.
I'm the producer on What's Good with George, and today we're going to follow up with our favorite family. I wonder what's going on with them now.
Hi, welcome. You can just put your seat right here.
So how's it going? So this is Madison, the mother of Logan Eads, and we wanted to follow up with a few questions about their lives today. So on that note, Madison, how would you say your relationship with your son has changed?
Well, our relationship has definitely changed for the better. I feel as though I am more involved in Logan's life, and I really feel like a mom now. Before, I just kind of let him do whatever and hope for the best, and obviously that didn't turn out well, so.
So how exactly did you solve your son's case of affluenza?
Well, I became a stricter parent for sure, and I got more involved in his life, and I established some rules for him to follow, like such as bedtime and when to clean. And we also have a family therapist that so we can discuss how Logan and I can keep a better relationship and keep working on it.
Wow, that's fantastic. So my next question's for Logan. Where is he, by the way?
Oh, let me go grab him. Logan, come down. Hello, son.
Hey, dudes.
Logan, are you happier? Do you feel changed?
I do feel that I'm happier, actually. I really appreciate so much more, and I'm so much more grateful for all that I have. I still in particular care for cleaning, but I'll do it for my mom because I love seeing how happy it makes her. I've learned that affluenza needs to come to an end for rich people. All we need to do to end this epidemic is for parents to love their children enough and give them rules and set them guidelines so they don't go and break the rules and they can become better human beings.
I so agree with you.
Thanks, Mom.
What an incredible story. It's amazing to see what great parenting can do for a family. Now let's take a quick break and see what George is up to.
Now presenting the iPhone 23 Plus Plus, now fireproof, waterproof, ice-proof, and even poverty-proof. Our brand new iPhone comes in 2 different styles, pure gold and platinum. It makes you look rich because you are rich. Come buy it today.
So I'm back with Ashley to wrap things up for today. Ashley, do you have any closing thoughts for today?
After seeing the effects of affluenza, it seems like we should put an end to affluenza defense in the judicial system. Today we talked about the positive effects and reasons of why affluenza defense should be eliminated. Not only would people be given the punishment that they deserve for the crimes that they committed, but they would also have a greater sense of appreciation for the good things that they have in life. So, as you all go on with your day, I challenge you to be on the lookout for different petitions regarding affluenza. Mothers Against Drunk Driving has a petition to move Ethan Couch's trial from juvenile court to adult court. There are also other petitions on websites like change.org as well as petitions.moveon.org that are trying to put an end to affluenza. I also challenge you to speak with your local government officials to learn more about the different actions and how they are using these actions to take an end to this horrible disease. My final challenge for you today is to raise your future children properly, ensuring that they are fully aware of the consequences of their actions. And I will leave you all with this. When you are thinking about your future children, do you want them to be criminals that blame their choices on their privilege? Or would you rather have respectful children that take responsibility for their actions and give back to their community?
Well, that sounds actually really good. Thanks for watching What's Good with George. I'm your host, George Erickson. Have a great day, everyone.
This is the way Sergio Molina used to be, a happy son and brother who loved playing soccer. This is the way he is today, 16-year-old Sergio with his mother. He can't talk, he can't move. He's considered minimally responsive. It's what happened to him after he flew out of the back of Ethan Couch's pickup truck this past June, on the night that Couch ran into and killed 4 other people just outside Fort Worth, Texas. Alex Lemus is Sergio's older brother.
They told us that basically that's as much as he's going to rehabilitate, but that's all we can hope for is how he is right now for the rest of his life.
The family hopes and prays that is not true, but meantime, they deal with realities.
In the 6 months since the accident, what have your medical bills totaled so far?
In the 6 months since the accident, over $1 million.
$1 million?
Over $1 million.
Sergio's family has filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Ethan Couch, his family, and his father's company because it was the company-owned truck Ethan was driving. An attorney for the driver's family has told CNN the judge made the appropriate disposition in this case. But Sergio Molina's family says testimony in the trial revealed the teens in Couch's truck pleaded with him to slow down and drive safer before the horrifying accident occurred.
And how many people need EMS?
Ma'am, I'm telling you, it's dark. There's 4 or 5 kids. There's kids laying in ditches and streets.
Sergio was one of those in the ditch. His brother was in court during the trial and says when he heard the Affluenza defense being used, he thought it was nonsense and upsetting.
When the verdict came and you found out he was not going to ever spend time in jail, what went through your mind?
Just a regular, anger. Disappointed, so outrageously angry I can't say anything.
The family is currently retrofitting their home with money they say they really don't have to accommodate Sergio. His mother Maria said it was emotionally hard for her to talk on camera, but she wanted to give it a try.
Tell me about Sergio, what kind of boy he is.
He was the best son. He was that kind of boy with a lot of drinks. He was, well, his first dream it was to be a soccer player. He was sweet. It was.
He's lucky he has you. You need to hear that from people like me, outsiders. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
He's lucky he has you and his siblings to take care of him. Right?
Yeah.
The memories of Sergio before the accident sustain this family. The picture of him on the left with 2 of his other brothers, his soccer uniforms, and his relationship with his dog Pinky, which continues today. His brother says he has quit his job to stay with Sergio all the time.
That's my life. If I have to become a scientist to go up